tell us a bit about the story, about how you started up and basically how you came up with the concept of Clockwork Espresso.
So there wasn't much of a sort of leap into entrepreneurship that some people have. I did a lot of the early development alongside my previous job, and then I was kind of pulled into it, and eventually it almost seemed like the stupid option would be to not follow it through, rather than the other way around, where, you know, quitting your job and going and starting a business is the mad thing that people dream about doing. I just thought I'd probably regret it if I didn't. We're coming up to our first year since the product launched, so we're at about 11 months now. We've got 2 full-time staff, customers in 46 countries. Yeah, so we're growing incredibly fast, and we've had no external funding so far. I decided that the best thing to do was to take it as far as I could without raising any money, because everyone told me that the more traction you can get and the more sales you have by the time you're going to raise money, the better deal you'll get. And I think that's probably fairly true for most businesses.
Have you been able to market? I mean, that's 46 countries, you say. That's a huge reach for a product that's less than a year old.
The UK barista champion used it in the World Championships.
Right.
It's part of his routine. He didn't mention it, he didn't even comment on it, he just used it. But that day, our website crashed with all the people trying to find out about it.
Wow.
And then over the next year, and before we actually launched it, I think we had 14,000 people go on our site looking for information, and 2,000 of them registered their interest to buy it. And that was with no paid advertising or marketing or anything. For most of that time I still had a job. It was that was a hobby.
Wow.
And then we had the first 23 of those 46 countries were in the first 3 weeks.
Amazing. So all off the back of the UK barista champion using your product?
Pretty much, yeah. To be honest, when I hired my first member of staff, I didn't know how we were going to pay them at the end of the month, and the same with the second member of staff as well. And I think I just realised that I was never going to get past that point of me packing boxes at 2 a.m. with my very understanding and supportive girlfriend, and that it was never going to get out of this sort of cycle of me just running around like a lunatic, desperately trying to spin all these plates. So I just kind of had to take a leap of faith and hope that by getting the right person, the sort of net output of the company would increase enough to pay their wages. Because the reality is, as a startup, you don't really have the structure that a lot of employers do. You know, that there's not that welcome pack and the whole onboarding process and, you know, all these training courses and
or
stuff.
Or an HR department.
Exactly. This is it, you know, take us or leave us. You've got to be prepared to sort of
join the family, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. But Newcastle as a place to start a business is fantastic. There's so much help and support, and there's such a community, and there's loads of people that just really want you to succeed, even if they don't know you. You know, the first time they meet you, they'll do whatever they can to help you on your way and introduce you to someone useful, or give you what you need to take the next step. And whether it's local people or people that have moved here because they're the sort of people who like it here, everyone's really friendly.
The mentor side of things, how easy was it for you to get a mentor, and how did you go about, you know, did you just knock on their door and say, hey, will you be my mentor, or how did you?
I think most of the people I've met so far, not all of them, but most of them have been through an accelerator that we're doing, which is Entrepreneurial Spark.
Okay.
So that's the one which is mainly funded by NatWest and some other big companies like KPMG. So they're pretty good for making introductions, and they've been really helpful in helping me get the business sort of ready for investment, get all the kind of boring paperwork done and all the investment packs and forecasts and stuff. Got some fantastic accountants as well who are kind of quite a bit more than accountants. I don't think there's any better advice than from someone that's actually done it. You know, there's heaps of organisations and consultants who will happily take your money to tell you what they think you should do, but actually speaking to someone that's done it is by far the best advice you can get, I think. You know, taking the time to get to know them and figure out if they're right or not.
Right.
There's definitely some people I've met, and my intention to begin with was that I wanted them to become a mentor, and actually sometimes they're not right. I'm not right for them, they're not right for me. They don't actually have any value to add.
Yes.
And you know, they don't want their time wasted,
No.
and neither do I. So
it's about finding that right personality.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's important to find someone who is as excited about the business as you are, and or as close to that as possible. Well, it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? You know, entrepreneurs have got to be passionate, but I think it's quite true. And maybe the more honest view of that is just that it's really hard, certainly to begin with. That like there's a lot of crap and a lot of really difficult times, and wondering how the hell you're going to pay the bills or payroll at the end of the month, and like we still have those headaches most months, to be honest. And if you don't really like what you're doing, then you're probably not going to stick it out. The only reason I'm kind of still carrying on with this is because I'm really enjoying the journey. It's not because it's constantly lots of fun and really easy, far from it. And I think most of the entrepreneurs that I've met would say something similar. For me, I just really enjoy what I do. It sounds horribly cheesy, but I just really enjoy it. Even when it's going a bit shit, to be honest, I still really enjoy the challenge of it. So I do work weekends regularly. I work late nights regularly. I've also had to learn to take time off when I can start to see that I need it, you know, starting to burn out or, you know, not getting enough sleep.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for chatting to us today. And yeah, best of luck.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.